continent was only connected to the rest of the world on October 12, 1492, when the expedition led by Christopher Columbus set foot on this continent. Specifically, under the orders of King Fernando and Queen Isabel of Spain, the expedition departed from the port of Palos in the Andalusia region after surpassing the African expedition. After crossing the Atlantic Ocean, they landed on the island of Guanahani in the Bahamas but mistakenly thought it was India. This is one of the most important events in human history because it was the contact between two worlds that had developed separately since the dawn of humanity. Many years after Columbus's voyage, Europeans began to realize that this place was not India but a completely new continent. Therefore, since 1507, people have called this continent America. In the following centuries, European powers such as Spain, Portugal, the Netherlands, England, France, etc., competed to explore, conquer, and colonize America. This led to the formation of many new cultures and nations. Currently, the New World includes the North American continent and the South American continent. Among them, the North American continent lies entirely in the Northern Hemisphere and almost as explored together in today. Boundaries of North America with other continents. This issue still has many different opinions to this day. Among them, France, Italy, Portugal, Romania, Greece, and Latin American countries often use the six-continent model. America is considered a single continent, while North America is considered a subcontinent, including Canada, the United States, Mexico, Saint-Pierre and Miquelon, and overseas territory of France, as well as Greenland and Bermuda. However, according to the United Nations, the North American continent includes three regions: North America, Central America, and the Caribbean. In this video, we will use the United Nations definition. Overall, the North American continent is shaped like a triangle, with a base in the north and the apex in the south. This continent has an area of approximately 24,709,000 square kilometers, accounting for about 16.5% of the land area and about. This is also the third largest continent in the world by area after Asia and Africa. The highest point of this continent is the Denali Peak of Mount McKinley in the Alaska Range, with an elevation of 6,190 meters above sea level. The lowest point in North America is Death Valley, which lies at 86 meters below sea level. In terms of location, this continent borders the Arctic Ocean to the north, the Atlantic Ocean to the east, South America to the southeast, and the Pacific Ocean. In addition, North America also includes offshore island groups such as the Arctic Archipelago, island groups in the Caribbean Sea, the Aleutian Islands, the Kuril Islands. Regarding the boundaries of this continent, first we need to determine the boundary between North America and South America. Since it has three sides facing the sea, North America only has a land boundary with South America. Currently, most geographers believe that the North American continent ends at the Darien Gap along the Atrato River, so the entire Republic of Panama lies within North America, while Colombia is an intercontinental country. That is the land boundary, and for the maritime boundary, all islands in the Caribbean region are usually considered a sub-region of North America. Although sometimes this area is included in Central America or considered a separate sub-region. Next is the boundary between North America and Asia. When looking at the map, we can see that these two regions are very close and are separated by the Bering Strait, which also forms the international boundary between the Russian Federation and the United States of America. This boundary also separates the Diomede Islands in the Bering Strait, with Big Diomede belonging to Russia and Little Diomede belonging to the United States. In addition, the Aleutian Islands are a chain of islands extending from the west of the Alaska Peninsula to the Komandorsky Islands and the Kamchatka Peninsula of Russia. Most of the islands are associated with North America, except for the Satsunian Islands located on the. Therefore, many opinions suggest that these islands belong to the Asian region, and the Alaska subregion of the United States is considered a That is to the west, and to the east is the boundary between North America and Europe. Currently, some regions are considered part of Europe politically but are classified as North America due to geographical factors. Now let's look at the map. These two continents are separated by the Atlantic Ocean, and their boundary is usually drawn between Greenland and Iceland, although both islands are linked to Europe politically and culturally. For Greenland, we don't need to debate because geographically, the Greenland plate is a sub-plate of North America. However, for Iceland, it's a different story. When looking more closely, you will see a long line in the Atlantic Ocean. This is part of the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, which has a length of up to 65,000 km. It lies at a depth of about 2,000 to 2,600 meters below sea level, and Iceland is the exposed part of this underwater mountain. If we think the Mid-Atlantic Ridge as the boundary between Europe and North America, Iceland would be an intercontinental. In general, using this mountain range as a boundary is quite reasonable because it extends from the Arctic region to the southern Atlantic Ocean and divides this ocean into two nearly equal halves. At the same time, the Mid-Atlantic Ridge is also the boundary between the Eurasian Plate and the North American Plate. The natural geography of North America is very complex and could be divided into. Among them, the western highlands are characterized by high mountain ranges and plateaux. This area extends from the U.S. state of Alaska to the southern border of Mexico, with some of the highest peaks on the continent. The mountain ranges here generally run from north to south along three main belts. First is the Pacific Coast Belt in the west. This area has mountain ranges running parallel to the among them, the most concentrated are in the Canadian province of British Columbia and the U.S. state of Alaska. These mountains extending close to the sea have formed including narrow bays with thousands of large and small islands. Here, there are many large mountain ranges such as the Alaska Range, Yukon Range, Coast Range, Olympic Range, and Sierra Madre. The Coast Range is a 1,600 kilometers long mountain range, running from the southwest of Canada's Yukon province to the southeast of the U.S. state of Alaska. It has an average width of about 300 kilometers, encompassing almost the entire coastline of Canada and extending south of the Fraser River. The highest point of this range is Mount Washington, with an elevation of 4,019 meters above. The landscape here changes distinctly with altitude, and the lower foothills are dense temperate rainforests. Higher up are rugged volcanic plateaus, and at elevations above 3,000 meters are peaks covered in snow year-round. Next is the Nevada Belt. It includes many major mountain ranges, among which the Columbia Range is one of the largest. This is a group of mountain ranges along the upper reaches of the Columbia River, stretching about 741 kilometers, with a total area of 135,952 square kilometers, and the highest peak is Mount at an elevation of 3,519 meters above. It is bordered by the Rocky Mountains to the east, the Kootenay River to the south, and the western boundary of the range lies at the edge of the interior. According to U.S. geographic classification, the Columbia Range is part of the Rocky, but this name is not used in Canada. This is the third belt of the mountainous region in western North America, with the largest being the Rocky Mountains, stretching about 4,800 kilometers from the far north of western Canada to New Mexico in the southwestern United States. The Rocky Mountains have a width ranging from 110 to 480 kilometers, and most of the highest peaks in this range have an average elevation of above 2,000 meters, with the highest peak being Mount Elbert in Colorado, at 4,401 meters above sea level. Each mountain here has its own unique beauty, from snow-capped peaks to green mountains emerging through misty haze, and hills casting shadows on winding rivers. Besides the major mountain systems, the mountainous region of West also includes coastal plains located in southern Mexico. This area lies close to the Sierra Madre Oriental mountain range. Following the western mountain region is the Central Land Area. This area is located in the center of the North American continent, with vast plains making it the main food production area, known as the breadbasket of North America, and also a region rich in oil and natural gas reserves. In Canada, this area is part of the interior plains, producing nearly 60% of wheat cattle. In addition, much of the land here is used for growing wheat and other crops such as barley, corn, cotton, sorghum, soybeans, and canola. In the United States, the interior plains include the western and the high grasslands south of the Great Lakes, extending east to the Appalachian Plateau. Among these, the western Great Plains is a vast flat region, located east of the Rocky Mountains with an area of 1,300,000 square kilometers, stretching about 800 kilometers from east to west and 3,200 kilometers from north to south. Previously, much of this area was inhabited by bison herds, but by the late 19th century, they were nearly extinct due to overhunting. Today, it is home to many nature reserves. with grasslands and shrubs covering most of the area, making it also a leading agricultural production region in the United States. Additionally, the Great Plains also encompasses the Great Basin.
This area covers 6 U.S. states: Nevada, Utah, California, Idaho, Oregon, Wyoming,
and the Mexican state of Baja California.
It is characterized by vast,
hot deserts
and low mountain ranges weathered over time.
The Great Basin Desert is part of the Great Basin region. It lies between the Sierra Nevada Range to the west and the Wasatch Range to the east. This desert is primarily defined by its ecological characteristics and is also characterized by 2 climatic extremes, with hot, dry summers and temperatures ranging from 32, while winters are typically cold, with snowfall and temperatures around 0 degrees. Precipitation here also varies by season and elevation. In the west, average precipitation is 230 mm, while in the east, precipitation is slightly higher, about 300 mm. Although the climate is relatively harsh, the flora and fauna here are very rich and diverse. Evidence of this is Great Basin National Park, located in east-central Nevada, USA. This area has over 800 plant species and over 300,
including mammals, reptiles, birds, amphibians, and insects.
Besides the Great Basin Desert, the Great Basin region is also home to 3 other deserts. Among them, the Chihuahuan Desert, with an area of 501,896 square kilometers, is the largest.
This desert formed relatively late, about 8,000 years ago,
and stretches from the southwestern United States to northern Mexico, due to being deep inland and having elevations ranging from 1,800 meters to 480 meters. It has a more temperate climate compared to neighboring deserts. Although in summer, temperatures typically range from 35 degrees Celsius to 4. In winter, temperatures drop significantly, making the climate more temperate.
Additionally,
in some areas, freezing occurs. According to meteorological agencies, the average annual precipitation in the Chihuahuan Desert is 2. According to the World Wildlife Fund, WWF, because the Chihuahuan Desert has a relatively temperate climate, it may be the most biodiverse desert in the world,
considering species richness and endemism.
In recent times, this area has been severely degraded due to human livestock grazing activities. Next is the Canadian Shield, also known as the Laurentian Plateau. The scope of this region is very extensive, covering more than half of Canada's area and most of Greenland. It also extends southward into the northern United States, with a total area of about 8 million. Because the geological extent of this shield is still very large, it could stretch from the northwestern U.S.
to the Appalachian region in the east and further south to Texas.
But these areas are covered by younger rocks and sediments, so many experts do not include them in the Canadian Shield. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, the Canadian Shield is one of the oldest geological formations, with many areas dating from 2.5 to 4.2 billion years. Also, according to geologists, this region originally had many very large mountains, many places reaching heights of about 12,000 meters, along with extensive volcanoes. But over time, due to many endogenous and exogenous geological changes, it has been eroded, with average elevations now only from 300 to 610 meters above current sea level. Currently, the Canadian Shield is covered by many diverse ecosystems. In the north, it is covered by grasslands and cold tundra, and is home to many animal species such as caribou,
bald eagles, moose, wolves, grizzly bears, etc. While the southern part of the region is covered by vast forests,
and is where most of Canada's population and economic activities are concentrated. Nevertheless, the Canadian Shield remains one of the world's richest areas in mineral resources. According to many reports, there are many mineral deposits here with large reserves, such as nickel, gold, silver, copper, petroleum, etc.
Therefore, many mining towns have sprung up in Canada.
This is the eastern part, and this area is divided into 2 slopes. Among them, the Appalachian Range stretches 3,330 kilometers. It starts from Canada's Newfoundland Island to central Alabama in the United States, including Saint-Pierre and Miquelon, and overseas territory of France. Thus, politically, this mountain range belongs to 3 countries: Canada, the United States. Among them, the highest point of this mountain range is Mount Mitchell. It is located in the state of North Carolina in the United States, with an elevation of 2,037 meters above. If excluding the Canadian Shield area, this mountain range is one of the oldest locations on the North American continent, as evidenced by some rock outcrops in the Appalachians that geologists believe were formed during the Precambrian era. Outermost is the Atlantic coastal plain. This plain is narrow to the north and extends about 320 kilometers to the south, where it merges with the inland plain. Swamps and bays are common features of the Atlantic coastal plain. Most bays are located in the northern part of the region. Meanwhile, the southern part consists of waterlogged lands, including many swamps and mangrove forests.
To the south is the Central American region, a narrow isthmus with an area of 523,780 square kilometers.
The natural geography of this area is very diverse, with many high mountain ranges. Among them, the Sierra Madre de Chiapas runs through 4 countries: Mexico, Guatemala, El Salvador, and Honduras. The highest point is the Tlatelolco volcano in the Republic of Guatemala, with an elevation of 4,220 meters above sea level. Geologically, the Sierra Madre de Chiapas belongs to the Central American volcanic arc. Although most volcanoes have been dormant for nearly 300 years, geologists always warn that this area could erupt at any time. Interspersed with the mountain ranges are fertile valleys, suitable for livestock farming and cultivating industrial crops such as coffee, tobacco, beans, etc. Currently, most of the population of the Central American subregion countries live in the Caribbean region mainly lies on the Caribbean plate, including the Caribbean Sea and about 700 large and small islands, with an area of 230. This area is located southeast of the Gulf of Mexico and the North American continent, east of Central America, and north of the Caribbean subregion can be divided into 2 smaller areas. Among them, the Greater Antilles is a group of large and small islands in the Caribbean Sea with an area of 207,411 square kilometers and a population of about 39. The largest island in this region is Cuba. This island nation is located at the intersection of 2 major seas of the Atlantic Ocean, the Caribbean Sea and the Gulf. Specifically, its main island is about 200 kilometers east of Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula, about 155 kilometers from Key West, Florida, USA, and about 180 kilometers south of South Andros in the Bahamas, about 85 kilometers west of Haiti, 146 kilometers from Jamaica, and about 200 kilometers north of the Cayman Islands. The second area is the Lesser Antilles with an area of 14,364 square kilometers. This is a group of islands to the west of the river. They form an arc starting east of Puerto Rico and moving south through the Leeward and Windward Islands, approaching South America and then turning west along the coast of Venezuela. The islands of the Lesser Antilles are divided into 3 groups: the Windward Islands in the east, the Leeward Islands in the north, and the Leeward Antilles in the south. Due to its diverse terrain, North America's climate is extremely rich. It has all types of climates, from tropical rainforests in Central America and the Caribbean to permanent ice regions in central Greenland.
Additionally, subarctic climate and tundra dominate in northern Canada and northern Alaska,
while deserts and semi-arid regions prevail in inland areas cut off from rain-bearing westerly winds by high mountain ranges. However, most of the North American continent has a temperate climate, which is very favorable for settlement and agricultural production. Moreover, North America's river system is also diverse with many major rivers. Among them, the Missouri River is the longest river in North America. This river originates from the Centennial Mountains in the Rocky Mountains, and flows southeast through 7 U.S. states, and merges with the main channel of the Mississippi River, forming the 4th longest river system in the world. Near the center of the North American continent, there is a large lake region called the Great Lakes. This is a chain of large freshwater lakes connected to each other, and it is also connected to the Atlantic Ocean via the St. Lawrence. The Great Lakes have a surface area of up to 244,106 square kilometers, nearly equal to, so it is the largest freshwater lake on Earth by total surface area and second by total volume. Accordingly, the total volume of the Great Lakes is measured at a minimum of 22,607, slightly smaller than the volume of Lake Baikal at 23,675 cubic foot. At the highest level, experts estimate that the Great Lakes contain about 21% of the Earth's surface freshwater. The Great Lakes include 5 large lakes: Lake Superior, Lake Michigan, Lake Huron, Lake Erie, and Lake Ontario. Among them, Lake Michigan is the only lake entirely within. The remaining lakes form natural borders between the United States and Canada. Currently, the Great Lakes serve as a crucial waterway for North America. Besides transportation, these 5 lakes have economic significance, particularly as a source of fresh.
When the first European settlers arrived in this area, they were amazed by the diversity of the Great Lakes.
According to many records, this area once had up to 3,000 fish species along with thousands of them. However, due to overfishing and pollution, only about 150 species remain today. but they still generate approximately $4 billion in annual revenue for surrounding. Additionally, this is also an attractive tourist destination with activities such as this,
along with many other water sports on the lakes,
like boating, diving, windsurfing, etc.
North American population.
Currently, North America has 23 independent countries and 23 dependent territories, mainly overseas territories of European countries such as the United Kingdom, France, the Netherlands, Denmark, and the United States. In terms of population, the North American continent currently has 608,130,000, ranking 4th in the world after Asia, Africa, and Europe. Among them, the United States is the most populous country with 335,100,000, followed by Mexico with 131,230,000 people and Canada with 39,770,000 people. The combined population of these three countries accounts for over 80% of North America's population.
Demographically, North America has ethnic diversity, with three main population groups being white, black, and mestizo,
mixed between indigenous and European people. Additionally, this region also has minority groups of Native Americans and Asians. Historically, North America specifically and the Americas in general were colonies such as Spain, England, and France, etc. Therefore, the main languages of this region today are English, Spanish, and French.
In Greenland, Danish and Greenlandic are used alongside each other.
Due to diversity, in terms of language and culture, we can divide North America into two regions. That is, Anglo-America, where English is the main language and British culture has deeply influenced culture and ethnicity of the area. This region includes the United States, most of Canada, and some Caribbean countries. Among them, Canada is one of the two main Anglo-American countries, but in some places like Quebec Province and the Inuit-Nunavut region, French is the main language. Additionally, other territories such as Saint Eustatius, Saint Martin, and Sava are not part of Anglo-America, even though the majority of the population speaks English.
The reason is that these areas are territories of the Netherlands. The second region is Latin America, where countries use Romance languages such as Spanish and Portuguese. While Brazil speaks Portuguese, most of Central America, the Caribbean, and South America use Spanish. Additionally, indigenous languages are still used in North America.
According to language experts, there are about 150 surviving indigenous languages in the United States and Canada.
Regarding religion,
due to having been colonies of European countries, Christianity is the majority religion, with over 70% of the population following it. Among them, the United States has the largest Christian population in North America, with over 230 million here. This is also the country with the largest Christian population in the world. Ranking second is Mexico, with 107,780,000, and this is also the country with the third largest Christian population in the world, after only the United States and Brazil. Besides Christianity, North America also has other religions such as Judaism, Buddhism, Islam, Hinduism, and African origin religions.
North American economy.
The North American economy is a large market, with over 600 million people in 23 sovereign countries and 23 dependent territories. Although one of the most developed regions in the world, there is a clear divide between English-speaking countries like Canada and the United States, as they are two of the wealthiest and most developed countries in the world, while Latin American countries are less developed. Mexico is a special case as it lies between two extremes, leading to clearly contrasting political and economic situations. According to data from the International Monetary Fund, North America's total GDP in 2023 reached 32.32, with the United States being the largest economy in the region in the world, with a 2023 GDP of $26.950 trillion.
The U.S. economy is driven by advanced science and technology, developed infrastructure, and abundant natural resources.
Currently, the U.S. economy has shifted from agriculture and industry to services, and this sector now accounts for the highest proportion in the U.S. economy. Among the world's 500 largest companies, 136 are headquartered in the United States. Despite facing challenges from China's renminbi, the U.S. dollar remains the most used currency in international transactions, and is the world's most important reserve currency. Canada is the second largest economy in the region, with a GDP of $2.120 trillion,
and is the ninth largest economy in the world.
This country has shown significant growth in services, mining, and manufacturing sectors, with the services sector accounting for about 78% of the country's GDP. Mexico ranks third with a GDP of $1.810 trillion. This is a newly industrialized country with the world's 15th largest economy. Its main revenue sources come from petroleum, agricultural exports, electronics, heavy industry, automobiles, construction, food, banking and financial services, etc. The Central American subregion had a 2023 GDP of $300, with the Republic of Guatemala being the largest economy in the region, with a total 2023 GDP of $102.8 billion, approximately 1.2 times that of the second-ranked country, Costa Rica, with a GDP of $85.9. Like other regions in Europe or Asia, the North American economy has a clear and well-defined structure, with many major trade agreements and organisms. Among them, the North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA, is an agreement between Canada, the United States, and Mexico, signed on August 12, 1992, and effective from January 11, 1994. The content of the agreement aims to facilitate easier economic exchange between them. Specifically, the United States and Canada can easily transfer technology to Mexico, and conversely, Mexico can easily transfer human resources. Additionally, the agreement helps the three countries increase their competitiveness in the world market, compared to other blocs such as the EU, NAFTA, etc. Since 2018, NAFTA has been replaced by the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, USMCA. This agreement is the result of renegotiating NAFTA in 2017 by the member countries. The countries agreed to informal terms on September 30, 2018, and officially signed on November 30, 2018. Subsequently, a revised version was signed on December 10, 2019, and ratified by all three countries on March 13, 2020. Negotiations mainly focused on automobile exports, steel and aluminum tariffs, and the dairy, egg, and poultry. Additionally, a provision in the agreement prohibits any party from passing laws restricting cross-border data. Compared to NAFTA, USMCA strengthens environmental and labor regulations and encourages more domestic automobile production. The agreement also provides intellectual property protections, gives the U.S. greater access to Canada's dairy market, imposes quotas on Canadian and Mexican automobile production, and increases duty-free limits for Canadians purchasing online from the U.S. Besides USMCA, the North American region also has other trade blocs, such as the Caribbean Trade Bloc established in 1973 when 15 Caribbean countries signed, and the Central American Free Trade Agreement in 2006, signed by 5 Central American countries and the United States,
focusing on creating a free trade area similar to NAFTA.
It can be seen that the United States still dominates the regional economy. And that is the information about North American geography. Thank you for watching the video. Goodbye and see you in the next videos.